Have you ever felt like there's been something that's been holding you back from becoming who it is that you've wanted to become? Have you wanted to do your personal or professional development, enhance your talents, your skills, your gifts, so that they can actually become superpowers, but as you're trying to do those things, you just notice there's things in your way. There are hurdles, there are roadblocks, there are things that are holding you back. If so, you're going to want to watch this video. We are going to go through, and I want to share with you 10 things that you can do that are going to help you to break loose from that and get past all those barriers that have been holding you back from succeeding and that have been holding you back from becoming who you want to be. On top of covering those 10 things, over the time of helping people to develop gifts, superpowers, identify the right people to give it to, how to provide more value to individuals, how to have better engagements, I have found that there are very common things that will get in your way. So I want to flush some of those out as well as covering the 10 things so that we can, hopefully you can see some of what they are. And honestly, many times people don't even realize that they're there, or maybe they see one, but they don't see other roadblocks that are there. So we're going to cover some of those. Once you've been able to identify what hurdles, what roadblocks, what things, what forces are holding you back, then you can truly start to develop and work on your gifts and superpowers even more. You can work on that path towards becoming what we call is a giver or an impact maker. Now, the word giver, as we use it in our book, The Giver Method, is an acronym. And we're going to be focused heavily on the letter G, the first one, which is all about gift, developing your gifts, your superpowers, and finding the ways that you can give them to others. That is a huge part of your personal and professional development. It's a huge part of helping you to break free of things that are holding you back. So I can't stress enough that utilizing the 10 things I'm going to cover are going to truly help you to break free of all that. It's going to help put you on that true path of personal and professional development that you're trying to then work on yourself. You're trying to improve relationships. You're trying to improve your career. You're trying to improve how you show up or the impact you can make in the world. And this is going to allow you to do that. So pay close attention to them. Of course, all of our content covers these ideas of, how you develop the gifts, how you give them to the right people. So check us out. If you haven't already, you can check us out on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn. We're here on YouTube, so you can subscribe to the channel. You can like the video, comment, share this with someone who may need it. Of course, you can always go look and see how we can help by going to thegivermethod.com. Now, if you are looking to become the person you've always wanted to be, you see this idea, this thought, this pillar of what you want to become, and you do see that things are in the way, and you want to be able to utilize your gifts and superpowers as a part of that to make that greater impact, you should consider joining our Giver Academy. In fact, we're looking for 5 individuals who want to take part in our next Giver Academy, which is an 8-week online group workshop. And we're going to be starting another one here soon, so we're looking for a few more people to fill some slots on that. If you'd be interested in learning more about it, getting more details, you can send an email to info@thegivermethod.com with the subject line. Just put in the subject line details, and we'll be able to reply back to you with all that information. Of course, my name is Jake, and I am the founder and chief giver over at The Giver Method and Impact Makers. And at The Giver Method, we are heavily focused on helping people take those gifts and superpowers, identify the right people to influence and give and make an impact on, how they then deliver more value to those people, how they engage with individuals. Because at the end of the day, the outcomes are going to be things like becoming who you want to become. You're going to find also that you have enhanced relationship riches, is what we call them, where relationships with your spouse, partner, children, parents, spouse, I already said that one, friends, family, coworkers, whatever it may be, are improved, which are all things that help you down that path of becoming who you want to be. Once you do this, you'll notice that the universe has a way of paying you back. As you develop your gifts and skills and give them and work towards becoming that person, the universe has a way of paying you back, whatever that may look like. It may not be right away, but it does. So take these types of steps, check out the other things on our videos, and start to develop yourself in that way. Because once you become a giver, I promise you, you're going to be able to change people's lives. You're going to be able to transform people and make a greater impact, make greater connections, and all of those things. So let's talk about those 10 things that can hold you back. Really, we want to start by being like, what is holding you back? What's preventing you from busting through and making the life you want? So you have to be completely honest with yourself if you're doing this. So you may want to get out a piece of paper, you may want to jot down some ideas, and then come back and reflect on this a little bit later. But let's dive through some of what these are, what some of the tips are, and the ideas and things that you can do that are going to help you on that path towards breaking free of these things. The first thing that you need to do is you need to be able to identify the hurdle that you want to change. You want to be able to make that conscious decision of, this is the thing that's in my way, and I want to get past that. And so there are a lot of different hurdles. I want to cover some of them real quick because I want you to see what things maybe are in your way. And like I said earlier, maybe you don't see it yet. Maybe you don't know that it's in your way. And I want you to be able to see it so that you can make the change and the impact. So some of those hurdles include things like just overall fear. Okay. Fear of, we'll just start with failure. Okay. Fear of failure holds people back because they're afraid to fail. They don't want to risk anything. If that's the case, you may find yourself rejecting opportunities or letting opportunities fly by the wayside without even realizing it because you are concerned or scared to step out of your comfort zone as a part of that failing. You may have stayed in the same role at work or something like that you're not happy with, that it's not fulfilling to you because you're afraid to either advance into the company or to leave and go to another company. You may find that you daydream a lot as a part of, starting your own business or what it could look like when you get to this level at the company and making all this money. Now, those are all still parts of that fear of failure. They're things that you may not realize are there that are getting in the way. Another hurdle that you may have is just a lack of confidence. If you lack confidence, you're going to probably have trouble connecting with other people. That's just one of the simple truths of that. You may struggle to ask for help, which is a huge part of development, and you may continue to let those opportunities fall by the wayside because of that lack of confidence. You may feel the hurdle of feeling unworthy or the fear of being found out because I'm not there yet. Oftentimes, that's referred to as imposter syndrome, and we've got all sorts of stuff that we help people on when it comes to imposter syndrome. And somehow we've got it inside of our heads that, that being self-deprecating is the same as being humble. And it's not in any way possible. A lot of people that I've talked to about this, they've held back because of an intense fear that others are going to find them out. That's a common thing I hear. And that if they get too close to people, they spend too much time with someone, that all of these inadequacies that they may have or the rough edges that they may have may be discovered by an individual. And so they're not doing the things that they should. You may have experienced the hurdle of either the inability to take action or not even knowing where to start. Not even having a manual or a way that, how do I get there? I know what I want to become. I think I know what I want to become, but how do I get there? Another one that honestly gets in the way is trying to get there too fast. Things take time. Development takes time. Growth takes time. I like to use the analogy of the redwood trees in California versus the trees in Kauai, Hawaii. The trees in Kauai, many people don't know, used to be a sugar plantation. And so there were sugar canes. When the plantations left, they wanted to plant vegetation, so they brought in these trees. I can't remember what the name of them are, but there's so much moisture and so much water, and these trees grow so fast that they grow 10 feet a year. And so they grow really tall, really, really fast. You're standing amongst these trees and you feel like they're 100-year-old trees, and they're like, no, those are 30-year-old trees. They're not that old. And the problem with that is that then they're easily knocked over. They call them widowmakers locally because the trees won't fall over and kill people. Now compare that to the redwoods in California, these trees that have been there for hundreds of years, that have developed, that are some of the strongest trees out there. I mean, they've got ones that you can drive through. So development and growth, they take time. The last two hurdles I've seen are, number one, people are waiting for a permission slip to take action. Take this as your permission slip. Go. The universe is calling on you to take action. And then the other one is trying to mirror other people's successes. Like, you need to let go of that. Just because someone else is there, that may be where you are going to be in a month, 6 months, a year, 10 years. I had a moment like this recently where I was talking with someone who I respect and admire a ton, and talking about like growth and like wanting to get certain places, and I feel like I'm hitting roadblocks. And he said a very, very impactful thing to me, and he goes, oh my gosh, you're exactly where I was 10 years ago when I started doing this thing. And I was like, as soon as he said it, it was like, oh yeah, I can't compare myself to your success because you're at a different place in life. You're at a different place in development. You've had different hurdles or barriers along the way. So if any of those hurdles resonated with you, you should really consider joining that Giver Academy. Once again, we're looking for some individuals to fill a few more slots, and it's going to be starting soon. So if you have interest in becoming a giver and an impact maker by developing gifts and superpowers and all the things we've talked about, then send an email to info@thegivermethod.com with the subject line details, and we'll send you all of that information. All right, now that we've covered those, and we've only covered one of those steps, which is to identify the challenges, the hurdle. You have to actually know what it is. So make sure you write those things down, reflect on them so you can come back to them. So let's run through the other 9 that there are really, really quick. If you know what those challenges are, those hurdles, those things holding you back, and you have clearly set the goal, the path, the thing that you want to become, then you have to start taking some risks. You have to lean into uncertainty. That's just part of what this thing is. The third thing is going to be bold and vulnerable. Like, you have to be willing to say the hard things and be willing to take the feedback. The fourth thing is going to be that you have to be forgiving to yourself, because oftentimes our history will create things in us that hold us back. So it's part of being human. We're imperfect no matter what. There is no perfect being that lives on the earth today. So seeking perfection, like, that is self-destructive. It's that whole like trying to be the Instagram person that you see that you're like, oh my gosh, they've got a perfect life. That's not going to happen. So aim for your best and be okay with the fact that imperfect version of yourself is perfectly fine. The fifth thing is going to be look at changing your habits. Now, we've got some resources and stuff, other videos we've done on setting daily journals, weekly reflections, setting goals that are going to challenge you to change up your routine a bit, that help you in that development. So you need to change up your habits as you go. You have to then, number 6 thing that you can do, you have to be able to encourage yourself to continue to work towards the goals, the things that you desire. You're going to have to give yourself some self-love, I guess would be the way of saying it. Don't be afraid to give yourself a pat on the back and be like, cool, I'm on the right path. I'm going where I want to go. The number 7 thing that oftentimes goes along with what we've talked about in the past, creating SMART goals, which there's all sorts of videos on SMART goals. But one of those things is being practical. And so being practical with some of the immediate things that you can do and that you can reinforce as you start to move past this here in the first week. And then what could be true about the second week of development and the third and the fourth. Like, be very clear, and once again, not trying to shoot too far too fast. The 8th thing is that you need to own your value. Take some time and be like, yeah, no, this is what I can offer. Here's how I help people to improve. And then, of course, the 9th is going to be to take advantage of the experience and expertise of others. Find mentors. Find the people who can help to give you constructive feedback, who can help pull you out of your head when you're maybe being self-deprecating or whatever that may look like. So help yourself by finding someone who can help you. And then, of course, number 10, it's going to be a reiteration of another thing, which is just take action. Take action. You have to continue on this path. So if anything else, you always need to believe and believe hard in who you are and what you're trying to become, and that you can get there. Believing in yourself is truthfully the beginning of the process of reaching your goals, but it is one that you need to constantly reiterate and build your faith and confidence in yourself. It's critical that you know this. It's critical that you know these attitudes, that you put these things in place so that you don't let fear get in your way. You find the ways that it changes your behavior so that these roadblocks you can jump past, you can move over, you can continue forward momentum by doing those things. When we move past these, we're actually going to be able to reach our goals. We're going to be able to identify what else we need to do to become the person we want to be. So hopefully these 10 things, ideas are helpful. Hopefully some of those hurdles are ones that maybe you're like, oh yeah, that's me. Or maybe you didn't know, maybe you hadn't thought of yet, and that you can now take and find the action steps that you want to do. Of course, if you're interested in joining the Giver Academy, that 8-week group online course, then please email us info@thegivermethod.com with the subject line details, and we will send those all over. You can check out more of the ways we help people at thegivermethod.com. As always, if you're not subscribed to the channel, like the video, comment your thoughts, share this with someone who you know needs it, that you see that they're being held back. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you continue to consume our content, continue to grow, and hopefully you have a great rest of your day. We'll see you in the next one.